What's up? Happy hump day. I figured I'd get a little bit of creative with each day here. And carrying on. So, yep, as you can tell by the title, it's Wednesday. Sorry about the goofy background, but I am broadcasting on both the Poindexter Lounge as well as the Sci-Fi Center's channel tonight. So I didn't have it all set up on Enosh's network when I jumped over. So I'm actually coming to you from there. But while you're here, please like, subscribe. You can find if you're not already on my channel, you can find it at youtube.com/at the Sci-Fi Center. If you're here, go over and like the Poindexter Lounge, and also vice versa. So, like I said, I as promised, I was going to go ahead and every other stream or so, I was going to try to broadcast on the Poindexter Lounge, keep his algorithm up since I know he's coming back. I just don't know how soon, and just wanted to make sure you guys knew that the channel was still there. All right, not a big news day. Actually, a boring day. I know there was some stuff on there about things I don't really watch. How you doing, Spider-Man? Yes, it is hump day. Yeah, or I could go. I can do Shazam colors too. There you go. That's Shazam colors. That one actually makes the belts look a lot better because it's yellow and the lights are gold. So, but I like my green. So there you go. Woo. So let's see what was on the news today. Oh, per our conversations, those of you who are already subscribed to my channel, you would have gotten a notification right now or about an hour or so ago with a poll about all the movies that we had been talking about. So if you head over there right now, I just posted it, so I don't expect there to be any. I don't expect it to be too many responses now, unless you guys are just waiting for that shit, which is possible. Let's see where we're at, community. All right, so what I had done. So I'm going to put my vote in. All right, so let me share the screen. So we had been talking about what movies we wanted to be group streaming, and so there you go. What I've done is on the community page, I put 1, 2, 3, 4. I started out with 5. 57% of you want Seven Samurai, which is the one I picked. 43% of you want Midnight Meat Train. So far, it's only been up for literally less than an hour though. So no votes for Heat yet, no votes for Renfield yet, no vote for Ron. Ron's probably going to get the least amount of votes simply because it's probably the least known movie on this list, but it is another Kurosawa movie, and it's a great one. It's a Shakespearean one, so it's probably going to be the hardest watch out of all of them. But like I said, I think Seven Samurai is a must. As we go into Rebel Moon, I think Seven Samurai is a must. Hold on for a second. Let me send Brad a link. Let's see. Invite. Copy. Twitter. Let's see if someone has permission to be up this late. Let's see if all right, yeah, Netflix is raising their prices, which is something I saw coming because, like I said, and that's just with the writer strike. But yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, there you guys go. They're the first 5. I'll probably keep this poll up for about 5 days or so, and then we'll set up a date. Like I said, I'm leaning towards personally. I would like to see Seven Samurai because I've been trying to express to you guys how important Kurosawa's films are and how influential him and guys like John Ford as well. But Kurosawa to me, as far as like the relatability to the movies that I watch and the ones that are coming up, I really think we should dive into that sooner than later. But you know what? It's whatever you guys pick, and once you pick it, we'll schedule it. We'll do the watch along, and then we'll go, man. How you doing, Jacob? Pepper the like button with suppressor fire. Wow. Okay. Strategic liking. Yeah. Yeah. Hit the like and subscribe button. Share the stream. Bring other people into our geek culture. Like I said, it's just another. All the days are turning into Mondays for me, so I figured I'd do a hump day show. Hold on for a second. Las Vegas Aces won another WNBA title tonight. I've actually been watching a lot of WNBA lately. Basketball is basketball for me. So, how long do you think the exercise is going to last for? I think it's going to last for the rest of the year, possibly. My guess right now is January, between January and March. And once it goes into there, you're going to start seeing, like I said, I already know there's certain movies that are scheduled and been pushed to March that are not going to be happening in March. I'm already betting, like I said, it's going to create a backlog for a lot of the summer movies, and then I'll do another round of movies too, so that we can so that you guys can we can I'll do 5 movies at a time. We'll pick one. What we'll do though is out of these 5, we'll pick it whatever gets the highest votes, that'll go first, but we will eventually get through all of these movies because they're all, in my opinion, great movies. So there is a community board in case you guys want to take a look at it. So there we go. Stop screen. All right. And then let me say, how you doing, Daniel Martin? What's going on? William, thoughts on 5 Nights at Freddy. Freddy's estimates to have the movie opening 40 million. Yeah, we were talking about that the other night. How much did that movie cost to make? By the way, we are promoting 5 Nights at Freddy's, and I got a bunch of stuff too for it. In fact, I'm going to show you guys that. Let's see. That budget was 25 million. That's a high end for Blumhouse, but let me go ahead and show you guys some of the cool stuff I got going this weekend. By the way, this stream is brought to you by Blumhouse Pictures and 5 Nights at Freddy's, opening in theaters next week. Let's see. Hold on. Let me show you some of the stuff that I got. All right. Share screen. Bam. Bam. And there you go. All right. So, yeah, I just got my box of stuff in today. And there's so right here, there's a spread. I got 2 different types of t-shirts. One's really cool. And hold on for a second because I'm going to it's got a front and back to it. There's the fan t-shirt right there, and then next to it is the employee t-shirt. So it's with the employees that work at 5 Nights at Freddy's and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza or whatever. I'm not too versed on it like you guys are, but so there's the one t-shirt. Can you survive 5 Nights at Freddy's? There's the workers t-shirt. It actually has a logo on the back. I'll upload that. There's the mini posters that come with it, and then there's the giant poster, the 46-inch one. Then there's the mini posters, and then there's little buttons and stuff, Foxy. So, and then that's me today. So yeah, we're about to this Friday we're going to launch our 5 Nights at Freddy's stuff. So I will be behind that movie. What else is on my Instagram? Let's see. That's what the studio looks like, or the studio area. What else I got? This is we're promoting this coming up. This is our 3rd annual Rocky Horror Picture Show that we'll be doing at Ellis Island Casino, the front yard. So I'm promoting that as well. It's comic books, artwork. This is our drive-in. That'll be happening on the 28th. It'll be They Live and The Fly. It's going to be basically a bug hunt type of situation. That's more pictures from our Rocky. These are years past ones, but this is the place we're doing it at, so it's going to be kind of cool. Or Rocky Horror, They Live merchandise. That's our show. Me advertising the show from the Yeah, there's so there's that. What else I got? Sister Kim's. Look at that. I actually have a Sister Kim's burger that I bought with me. Oh my goodness. Keith Giffen, rest in peace. It's me again. That's one of the local bands. That's my fat burger from the other night. Then there's a whole bike thing. I've been posting a lot on Instagram as much as I should be. All right, let's get to you guys. All right, so yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's gonna blow that away. I mean, I posted those posts today just as a preview to let people know, hey, our promotion's happening pretty soon, and man, I got people. Can you hold me one? I'm like, well, you have to come down to the store. Now, our Patreons, our movie club Patreons, those mini posters, you are gonna get those mini posters. I'm just waiting to accumulate enough to send it out, but you're gonna get the Exorcist Believer poster, the Creator poster, the Detective Comics 27 poster, and that Fast Night at Freddy poster that you saw in that picture. So they'll all fit in a nice shippable thing. So let's see. William thought on Invincible season 2 will pick up right after the end of season 1. Confirmed showrunner Simon Rakapa. You're going to see what the ramifications. Yeah, and that's exactly how the book runs. They're gonna do it just exactly how the book is written. And there's no gap in between the storytelling of where they left you in season 1. There's no gap. It just goes right into what it's supposed to do, because that's how they wrote it. How you doing, Vince? Does Gunn and Safran not have total say over the decisions about DC movies? I saw a lot of talk about making the rounds. Well, no, they work with someone. They for the most part, he's given them free license to do. They are studio heads, but Zaslav is their boss, and Zaslav can overrule anything anything they want. I don't think he'll do that very often, because that would undermine and that would really harm the strength of his positioning. But yeah, they could, like I was telling you before, if that's why I'm thinking that's where you're going to see Elseworlds and things like that, because you're going to have big name producers and writers and directors that are going to want to come and do their own versions of these IPs that are separate from what James Gunn is doing, and it won't necessarily be James Gunn's decision whether those things happen or not. But yeah, James Gunn and Peter Safran both work for David Zaslav, and David Zaslav has stockholders and presidents of the boards and all that to answer to. William thought on Edward Norton wasn't really engaged when filming Hulk's motion capture for Incredible Hulk movie. Says choreographer, he was not very present. That movie, it shows in the movie. Anthony, I can't remember the name of the album. I'm not sure if you can remember, William, but when you do your album review, can you do a review of Can you do the album for Ronnie James Dio with Rainbow in the Dark? You just talking about Rainbow? You want me to do the song, or because it's released on its own Rainbow, isn't it? Yeah, see, back in my day, these were called singles. I know I'm old. Oh no, okay? So you want me to do okay? You want me to do the single released in '83, or do you want me to do the whole album, Holy Diver, which I have no problem doing either. Yeah, see, I bought this as a kid as a single, but it's on Holy Diver. Holy Diver. But sure, I'll put that down for consideration. Aaron Pritchard, everyone, have you looked at the Bluey ripoff TV show that Daily Wire's created called Chip Chilla? There are a lot of upset Aussies today. Ooh, wow, what's all this? What's a Bluey ripoff? Explain, Aaron. I need a little bit more info on that. I know absolutely nothing about Five Nights at Freddy's. I still got to watch the Nick Cage movie where he fights animatronic animals in Willy's Wonderland. Yeah, I knew very little about Five Nights at Freddy either. I mean, like I said, I didn't know until people asked me if I was going to be promoting it. And then when I looked into it, it was on the schedule. So, like I said, we were talking about it last night. We'll go into it in depth this Saturday. It's going to be one of the topics. Five Nights at Freddy or promotion, and we're going to be promoting it on our Saturday show as well. By the way, I do not know what my schedule is going to look like on Saturday. I don't know if we're doing a super late show or if we're doing a 9 o'clock show, but I will know Friday. Now you got Holy Diver in my head. Holy Diver. Jacob McKenzie thought on Netflix has told shareholders that SAG-AFTRA strike negotiations are still ongoing, despite CEOs Ted Sarandos being one of the 4 studio CEOs to leave. He's, like I said, he may just have to play ball. I know he has more on the line, but this can't last forever. This can't last forever. And just because he's not there doesn't mean that he's not, that they're not negotiating on his behalf as well. After refusing to associate the deal, yeah, very subjective. William, are you going to do a promotion? I think I was, but I think the movie got pushed down, rescheduled. I was looking at that today. They were talking about that today. It got rescheduled because of the writer's strike. There's another one. Hold on for a second. Oh, just kidding me. Yeah, we were. I'm pretty sure that we'll be doing something for it. But with an all-star cast like that and the writer's strike still going on, it just got pushed. And I forgot what it got pushed to, but it's not coming out on its original date. So, then, how well do you think Netflix's brick and mortar idea will go over? Very well, actually, because Netflix has established itself as a brand name. 1 and 2, like I've been telling you guys before, people are looking for that experience again. I think when we have it taken away from us, and we go without it, we tend to want it more. And I think that there is a hunger and a desire and a market out there for physical locations that do this stuff. And I think, like I said, I think the physical media may not ever reach the heights it was in the mid 80s and early 90s, mid 90s, but it'll still maintain some type of presence. And ironically, it's going to be by the people who helped almost push it to extinction. How you doing, Jordan? William thought on Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon is tracking open number 2 this weekend with 20 to 30 million domestically. Budget was 200 million. I don't think it's going to do well. And don't get me wrong when I say that I'm thinking that the movie's going to suck. It looks like an amazing movie, but it's a long ass movie. It's 3 hours and 45 minutes long. It's 3.5 hours long. What that does is that does 2 things. That limits the amounts of screens you can show it on. And if you see the movie, you ain't coming back. I'm not seeing that 2 or 3 times. Shit, that's 9, 12 hours, dude. I can't do that. So whenever there's a longer movie, it does, like I said, it does 2 things. It limits the screens that it can be on, and how, because you can only show so many movies on so many machines or screens a day, and it also it makes it to where you can only have so much time in a day to watch that movie. That's a long ass movie. I'm gonna go see it. I can't wait to go see it. I mean, it has everything I want. I mean, and it looks very good, but once again, I think it's going to struggle at the box office until Oscar time comes around, and then once it gets released, I think it will do well because it's got Leonardo DiCaprio. It's not an undesirable movie. It's just that runtime is killer, man. How you doing, 4th 1000? So you want me to do Holy Diver, review Holy Diver? Okay, I'll look into it. I got a couple options this weekend, but I'll put that as one of them. 4th. I want to see Daily Wires Snow White. You guys are going to have to fill me in on what that is. Holy Diver cover by Killswitch Engage is a great cover. I don't know, man. I've never heard it, but you're telling me to listen to something done by Roddy Dave Dio as a cover. I don't know. Bluey is a hugely popular kids go. Okay, there you go. That's why I don't know what the hell it is. William, are there any Rob Zombie movies you like or can at least tolerate? All of them except for his Halloween stuff and his Monster stuff. Whenever Rob Zombie is doing his own stuff, the guy's an artist. I like Rob. I mean, Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell. I mean, House of a Thousand Corpses. I mean, this is not, it doesn't appeal to everybody, but I recognize the artistry and what this guy does. I just don't like when he does other IPs. I hated his Halloween movies, but I can tolerate all of them. I mean, they're a little bit strong for other people because there's some things that there are things that happen to people in Rob Zombie movies that are almost trauma-like. So, but I'm down for it. Basically, Daily Wire is doing their own version of children's programming without the stuff they deem grooming. Oh, okay. Jacob McKenzie, William, thought on Netflix has increased the prices. I hit this when I first started. For basic up to $11.99, premium to $22.99, and despite raising the profit margins, they continue to refuse to pay active private streaming. Wow, you're not going to let them off of that hook. But they are eventually going to come to some agreement. But like I said, here's the thing, though. We all want actors to get paid. We all want everybody to make a fair wage. But the way the capitalist system works is it's not going to come out of their bottom line. It's going to come out of our bottom line. So I knew that these prices of these streaming things were going to go up as soon as there was a strike, because there's no way out of a strike. Like I said, they are not going to take the hubcaps off their golf cart to make this happen. That's coming out of our share, guys. So yeah, buckle up for that one. I'm not sure if you ever do reaction videos or music videos with them, but I found a young band called Lilac covering Rainbow in the Dark. I've never done one, but that doesn't mean I never will. I've done a couple of trailer reaction videos, but you know what though, because I've been obviously if you guys have been listening for any amount of time, how big of a Metallica fan I am, and there's groups out there. So prior to the Black Album, Metallica had a distinctly different sound that wasn't a studio sound. It was more like a unrefined garage sound. So some of the stuff as they got later on in their career, they got more money, they got better production. It just sounded a little bit more manufactured. But other earlier albums had a raw sound to them. So there's guys out there that take those newer songs and play them like they would put the God That Bells if it were on Justice for All, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then I'll see people doing covers, but they'll take off the production edge to it, and it'll sound like you're doing it in a basement. And I actually love it. So I maybe I should start doing reaction videos to. You know what? That's a good idea. I think what we should do is we should do it with Twitch, and we should like all watch them. So that way I don't get sued or blocked or anything. But we'll all watch them together, and then you guys can respond to them. That's actually a good idea, Anthony. Thank you. Let me email my old self that. Do it with phone. Oh, dude, I don't know what it is about this October, but it's too fucking hot. It's 95 degrees. I'm like, what the hell? There's mosquitoes. And I'm like, when are these things going away? I got mosquitoes, I got heat, and this is my time of year. I fought to get to this time of year, and I'm getting eaten alive all up on my head. It's hot. I mean, I should be on, not even having to turn on the air, but I am. But I'm hoping it'll get better. But yeah, let's see. Music video reviews. Let's see if we can work that out. I got to come up with a creative way to do it, though. But I think, rather than just having me sit and say, "Ooh, that's cool," let's have you guys in on it. All right. Oh, the Daily Wire's Snow White. LOL. I thought it was a joke at first. See, you guys are introducing this to me. I've never heard of all this. So, the female lead singer sounds like a mixture of Rodney James Eno and Joan Jett. Oh, okay. William thought on Netflix has gained 8.76 million subscribers in quarter 3, 2023. The ads plan membership is up almost 7%, yet actors are still being refused. All I can say to that is, Jacob, I'm not in the room where all this is being negotiated, so fair is subjective. It's a negotiation. So whenever you're negotiating, fair is especially in Netflix's case, is what's fair for everybody involved, and that's what a compromise is. So I don't know if I want to use their. They started off. Listen, I'll be the first to tell you that the studios didn't get on this started off the right way. I mean, they were being assholes. At the same time, there's got to be some type of compromise to or else we're gonna be on strike. This is a long strike. Hey, it's got Brett Cooper in it. I'll check it out. Maybe I'll get around to watching the Gina Carano Western too. Sounds like an action double feature for us. Uh-oh. Yeah, John Capia said that the show that was going to hurt Killers of the Flower Moon is a limited amount of viewings and screens that you use. How long the movie is. Yeah, and it hurt Blade Runner. That's one of the things. They didn't market Blade Runner right, in my opinion, but one of the things that really did hurt Blade Runner and movies like it is that it's 2 hours and 45 minutes. And it's not a fast moving 2 hours and 45 minutes in some cases. So yeah, you really, you can only show it, especially when you're limiting screens and, you have other movies that you got to show. When it was Endgame, it was different because that was like a huge phenomenon. But when you're talking about just basic movies, yeah, you really have to be stringent on your time. So yeah, that's gonna bother. But I think they know that. I don't think the people who made Killer Moon have any illusions of it being some blockbuster. They just want to get it out there. It's Scorsese, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, it's De Niro. It has all the things that say Oscar to it, and that's where they're gonna get their money back. Oh, by the way, guys, Mission Impossible 7, one of the movies that we might be screening later on, it's doing bonkers on video on demand. So, which I'm glad to hear because I know it didn't get it. Wow, I got bit on my finger by one of these fucking mosquitoes. God damn. Yeah, I thought it got the shaft in the theater. Question: could you do a story arc Keith Giffen wrote on the show to honor him? You know what I was thinking about doing? Because I was thinking about this the other day. The story, the Death of Superboy story. You know what? That's what we're going to do this week. Death of Superboy, the original Legion of Superheroes number 37, 36, 37, and 38 was the storyline. And that's the one that crossed over with Action Comics. I think number 8, Superman number 8, Action Comics. It's a 3-part story, and it's a collaboration with John Byrne, who I love, but I don't love him for that. And I think it's Keith Giffen. Hold on. Let's see. Man, you guys are like literally making my show for me this Saturday. That's a Superboy. That greatest hero of them all. That's the story arc. Let's see. Keith Giffen. Actually, no, it wasn't Keith Giffen. It was Paul Levitz. That was the other guy who did it. So it took place in Superman, the rebooted one, Volume 8, Action Comics 591, Legion of Superheroes 37 through 38. But you know what we could do? We could do just a Legion of Superheroes story. How about we do that? Because Legion of Superheroes, because after this, Volume 3 went away, they redid a Volume 4. And that was all Keith Giffen. And you know what? Let's do a Legion of Superheroes story arc. And that basically is Keith Giffen. Keith Giffen is known for that. Or we might just do the works of Keith Giffen just to honor him that way. We can do that too. But yeah, but good idea. Good idea, Numbers. I'm honestly surprised you never heard of Killswitch Engage. I probably have heard of them. I probably heard the band, but I never associated them with a name. Sorry. Let me look them up. Hold on. Can I spell today? Let's see. Let me mute this so I don't have Killswitch Engage coming after me. Okay, I know who they are. And you know what? They always, because I'm a fan of Lacuna Coil. For some reason, they come up now. At least I know their songs. I didn't associate with, but their songs come up when you play Lacuna Coil on my YouTube music thing. They come up now. Now I remember. They got a weird pace to them though. Rob Zombie's Halloween's the best ever. They are absolute trash. But okay. I need to watch the Devil Rejects again. Yeah, Devil Rejects is a classic. House of a Thousand Corp might be his best. That's I think that's his magnum opus right there. I really think so. And I mean, I think he's been trying to catch that ever since, and it's actually worked out because he's made some good movies. But I don't know if he'll ever get that again. Jacob McKinney, William thought on Final Destination's next movie being considered a reboot, rebuild. Well, everyone dies, so you kind of reboot every time you do one. But next movie is considered a reboot, revealed production designer Rachel Toll. How can you have a really fresh take on that movie? On that concept? It's hilarious. Hey, what's going on, Brad?
Yeah, man, got your invite, and pretty quiet week, as you said here. So, but I did see you in the chat when I was on the Four Nerds earlier.
Yeah, no, man. Just cheating on me. So you are a de facto fourth nerd now, or the fifth nerd? What are you?
Yeah, they just sent out the invite, and I've just been kind of a regular on there this last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so they're missing one every time. Like it was Nicotina today, and then sometimes it's but it's usually Nicotina that you're replacing. But yeah, I saw you on there. I'm trying to type into the show, but while I'm doing a bunch of other things.
A lot about Elseworlds and Ultimates and things like that.
Yeah. Phil's crazy, man. He's it's his nickname is Unfiltered is truly. Just hear him. Fuck Jeff. Doesn't like Jeff Johns. I don't think anybody does. Even though, like I said, he's done some. I like Three Jokers. I think Three Jokers is one of the better things that DC Black Label has come out with. But you guys are talking about DC Black Label and what's going to happen to DC Black Label as far as Elseworlds go. It's two distinctly different things. I don't see them because Black Label is some of their top selling stuff. I don't see Black Label, and I don't see a reason for it because what Elseworlds is it's just a different continuity and different continuity circumstances, whereas Black Label is just an alternate telling of pretty much the same stuff that we see. It's just got a much harder edge on it. It's got a much sleazier edge in some cases. It's much more violent. It's a much more adult tone, and also they folded up. What used to be Vertigo into that, so that's going to be its own imprint. Like when you see Swamp Thing and all the Sandman, all that. That's all Black Label now. So who's this?
Well, those ones we were talking about from the Elseworlds announced titles, those I'm pretty excited about because those look pretty interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna make a styrofoam thing, and I'm gonna cut the Elseworlds logo into it. I'm gonna stick it to the roof, and it's gonna have the things on it, and I'm gonna have all the mainstays. The Gotham by Gaslight's always gonna be there. Red Sun is all. Kingdom Come is the standard. That's all I got. I always have Kingdom Come to the store anyway, but that's a conversation starter, and I really, really need them to take this and run with it, and then run all the way to the end zone. So, I think
and outside of comics, also into animation and TV and movies.
And I'm wondering, and this is what I'm waiting for. I'm wondering if he's not very good at putting this out there. I mean, obvious reasons, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and figure that that's where he's headed, to give himself room, not even just give other artists and stuff room, to give him room, because what if you go in one direction, but you have something else you want to do and you can't do it, you can't uproot your current thing, but you still want to do this thing.
And the crazy thing is, I'm sure he would love to spill some more beans lately, but I mean, the strike is just preventing all that.
Yeah. I say go ahead with it. I say go ahead and start spilling beans. You can't talk about actors and stuff like that, but you got writers on board now. You can start talking about scripts. You can start talking about concept. This is what I really mean about him having that every Wednesday show with him and Jim Lee. Just him and Jim Lee sitting with a bunch of pop figures and stuff behind them, with a big screen behind them, talking about stuff, talking about ideas. You never know where you're going to get your next idea from. He could be sitting talking to some jobber fan like me or you, and we bring up something, and the light bulb goes on top of his head. There's our things like
Oh, really?
like
Because we have a few ideas.
yeah, we got a few ideas, and like I said, we don't know what's inside of his head, but I just think just having a conversation with the dude and making him a little bit more relatable and making him the face of what's going on, him and Jim Lee, and just saying, hey, this is what we're planning on doing, but not even that, not even he doesn't even have to talk movies. Like we could have weeks at a time where James Gunn doesn't talk movies. Jim Lee can be talking content and comic books, and James Gunn is a guy who's running a studio that is based on comic book IPs, can just be there as as the other guy. You know what I mean? James. I mean, there's plenty of stuff right now. Like right now, you could have had a show on today, Wednesday, talking about not even the upcoming Elseworld stuff that's coming out in January, but just giving everybody the whole lowdown of just how important Elseworlds is. And James Gunn could be there just having a conversation with Jim Lee. But there's going to be times when the movies you want to get people amped up and excited about the movies. And, it'll take the pilot seat on that one. But
Well, not toot our own horn, but I can tell our audiences also seems to be growing fairly
go ahead.
substantially. So it's like, yeah, maybe like, hey, James Gunn, you want to hop
Did I
on
lose
the
your mic?
thing anytime? We can have you.
Go ahead. You were saying something.
Yeah, I was saying that I've been noticing our audience seems to be growing week to week. So James Gunn, anytime you want to hop on and kind of lay all this out, you definitely can.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I would watch it. I would watch the hell out of that. I'd watch that live. I'd watch that at 8:00 in the morning. Rainbow in the Dark is my favorite cover of that. See, I don't hear too many. I don't. I try not to listen to too many covers of Dio's work, but I guess I probably should. Probably look up that Ronnie James Dio, the best Black Sabbath lead singer, by the way.
Have we had any big news this week though? Because not that I'm aware of. I mean, it's been the strike is just putting everything on pause.
I mean, we have a lot of lingering stuff. We've had obviously the Daredevil thing is still having effects on people. The Elseworlds announcement was big. Marvel doing their realignment. And it's funny because what Marvel's doing is exactly what I suggested that James Gunn is probably doing or should do, which is don't blow up everything, but kind of prune off what you don't need and realign things where you want them to go. I mean, if you want to keep Scarlet Witch, why do you have any reason to keep Scarlet Witch? You make her fit into the reality that you want her to be in, with her brother alive and her father.
we were talking about in the support nerds tonight. It's like, the only thing I kind of see is a little bit of a question mark is, as far as the rumor that Secret Wars is going to soft reboot the MCU, is that okay? But we got all the lingering stuff, the cliffhanger of No Way Home, so it's like,
yeah, and that's not going anywhere. Yeah. Well, and the problem here, and you know what the problem with what reboot is us, it's fans. We need to stop using the word because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Most of the people who say reboot don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what the expectations of a reboot are. They don't know what the ramifications of a reboot are. I don't know why the word got into their head, but it's used randomly. It's used too much, and it's never what the people are going to do.
I mean,
James Gunn,
just play Batman Begins because that's really because Batman Begins popularized reboots because it revived the Batman franchise on film after Batman and Robin, but it's the kind of thing where maybe worked too well.
But you're not rebooting. Technically, you're not rebooting because you're not doing anything with the previous movies. Those movies still stand. You're reimagining the character. That's what the real word, that the appropriate word that should be used is reimagining. You are putting your take on the character. You are not restarting the Batman franchise. You're doing your own. You're not undoing or restarting Michael Keaton's stuff or Val Kilmer's stuff. You're doing your own imagination of it. And I think that the word, because like I said, I think it's gotten on the tongue of people. It's become the cool, trendy thing to say to make you think like you're smarter than the people that you're sitting at the McDonald's table with. But it's a dumb term, and it's a divisive term, and it's actually an inaccurate and damaging term. Because what Marvel's going to do is not a reboot, and there's no such thing as a soft reboot. All right. There's no such thing as a soft reboot.
When I've heard the term soft reboot, that I usually kind of connotate that with tone. When we talk about like soft reboot, that's what I've always kind of associated with, is that it's not a continuity reboot, but it's like we're shifting to a lighter tone or maybe a darker tone.
Or what a selective realignment is. Like I said, perfect case in point. I keep Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. I want her as my Scarlet Witch. She exists in this universe that I'm creating. But I'm going to realign things to where that Quicksilver never died. He's still alive. Magneto is completely different. It's the Magneto that we need. That fits what the story that we're telling. But there are things that I might get rid of. There's a lot of stuff that the MCU can get rid of, and that they can just realign things and realign it away. They can change their time, like what Secret Wars does. They can change the focal point of their reality, and then certain things just don't exist anymore. But like I said, every time I hear the word reboot, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Any first timers, William does not like reboots
because
I'd like going to the dentist.
For so many different reasons. Most of the people who use the term don't know what they're saying or what they're talking about. B, it's not accurate to whatever it's being applied to. And most of them, when they are accurate, don't lead to anything worthwhile. I've always given you tons of examples of when the term reboot is actually the actual term being used. It usually leads to bullshit.
Well, and because I was thinking about it too when you said repeatedly on many streams like most reboots failing. I've been thinking about listing off my head in the last month or so. It's like lists of reboots, and these are ones that I like. But like Dread is it's a reboot. It failed. It's great, but it failed.
Go ahead. Most of them fail.
I don't know. I might need even some more thought before Saturday. And the ones I was thinking of, but yeah, that's one that jumped in my head is Dread, and it's a good one, but it failed.
We were going to bring Enoch because Enoch was all for it, and I was telling him, dude, most reboot failed. He's like, give me some proof, and I sent him like a list, and we were going to do a show on it before he went on hiatus.
I remember that, yeah.
Because I had a list of them, dude, and when I pulled up the list while I was on the air with him, the list was actually more extensive than I could imagine. Like I said, reboots, lazy and stupid, screwing, and the love child is a reboot.
Well, we're definitely that definitely still would be something would love to see once Enosh makes his comeback. Yeah, Enosh, if you're watching, I'll just sending you all the best right now.
Yeah, he's having a lot of fun. He's doing plays. Okay, so we've reached troll territory now. you just trying to get a response out of me. Yeah, here's Anthony Manzano. William, this is according to Bloomberg, Fox Business, and MSNBC. They're saying that Disney is in the process of selling ABC and NBC to other people. Yes. I've heard that, and I think that's why a lot of the layoffs that happen, because they don't need them. They don't need them. Disney wants to keep the studios. ESPN
want to keep the theme parks.
Yeah, the theme parks pulling $38 billion. The theme parks is where they make their money. So it's the theme parks and the ESPN. Now, what might end up happening because of this, they might be trying to sell Disney itself. That's another rumor, is that whoever would want to buy Disney doesn't want the burden of ESPN in a network. They would want the cash cow, which is the theme parks, and they would want the studio library and Marvel. That's what they would want. But yeah, and that's why these are two liabilities. ESPN is not the moneymaker it used to be because of it used to be the go-to place to get all of our sports. Now there's just so many ways to get sports. They've lost a lot of momentum. It's getting crazy now with this economy. Everyone is going on strike. Well, because everybody got screwed for a while, I know zero about Percy Jackson. I'm sorry. What do you think about this one, Brad? William, thought on budget for Percy Jackson and the Olympians is between $12 million and $15 million per episode, on par with The Mandalorian.
I mean, it's a good budget.
Yeah,
Mandalorian's very polished.
Yeah, less than Game of Thrones. So there you go. Okay, here we go. Ridley Scott, quoting say Blade Runner 2049 didn't be that fucking long. He did say that. He actually did say that.
Oh,
but
he did?
Ridley Scott did say that. But you know what? I love that movie, and maybe it's because I'm biased, but I love that movie. All 2 hours and 43 minutes of it. So, William thought on Daniel Radcliffe denies bulking up due to Wolverine casting. It's 50-50. I mean, I know fans have always said that they want him to be Wolverine, but I don't know if he's ever been.
They're not even going to consider anything with Wolverine until after they get past Deadpool 3 with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, and then it's going to be years down the line. I always say that don't start off the X-Men universe with Wolverine and Storm and all these other ones. I mean, get to them. And you can have, like I said, there's nothing wrong with having Wolverine in the periphery, having him around doing his thing, but he does not need to be an X-Men outright. There's a lot of story to tell before we get the Wolverine that as long as you're telling a Wolverine story, and plus, like I said, it's going to take time for the man babies to let go of Hugh Jackman, man. He's been Wolverine for so long that, I mean, whoever takes up Wolverine next is going to have to deal with a bunch of
Godspeed to that man.
It's not my Wolverine. And I'm like, and now Marvel's going to have it for the first time. They're going to have the same situation that DC started with on day one. So, all right, he got buff because I'm obsessive. I don't want to. You see, my parents are like insane fitness people, so that's been passed on to me. But no Wolverine flattered, but no.
Was that Daniel Radcliffe saying that?
Yeah. Oh. Man, Mandy, dopey. I didn't mind the pace of Blade Runner. The story was good enough to keep my. Yeah, same here. Both Blade Runner, 2049 and the original. Movie runtimes are getting ridiculous. 3 hours and 45 minutes. You really got to rearrange your database. But see, here's the thing, though. I can watch Godfather now. That's Flower Moon's runtime.
Yeah, that I was about to ask. Is that the Scorsese movie runtime? And, well, he does long runtimes anyway.
Yeah, well, The Irishman was like literally half a shift. But I can watch Godfather, no problem. I can watch it all the way through, and it doesn't seem long to me. It doesn't seem too long to me. If the movie engages me and keeps me, I can do it. But if it's like The Irishman where I'm like, okay, I'm at home looking at the screen and wondering if I could be doing something else. Not because it's a bad movie, but it's 4 hours long, man. You need intermission. So let's see. Anthony, you're on fire tonight, boy. Because owning ESPN and APCM is putting a drain. Yeah, that's exactly. You know what? We're reading. Maybe with you, Anthony, I need to read your initial question. I need to scroll down, and because I usually end up answering it for me. All right, how you doing, Azteca? What's going on, man? Everybody say hi to Brad. I had to coach the parents into saying, yeah, Brad, we're not going to be doing anything bad. He could do the show from bed. No, I'm just kidding.
My computer is right next to my bed, though. So,
okay, William, what are your thoughts on Kevin Feige saying he might use influences from the Ultimate Universe version of Secret Wars as influencer? He's okay. Wait a minute. He's been doing that.
Yeah, Nick Fury.
That's why. Yeah, Nick Fury. Look at that Captain America from the Ultimate Captain America. That's pulled straight out of Ultimates. The Avengers, the way the Avengers Initiative, the way everything that's done. To me, they took.
There's as much, if not more, Ultimates in the MCU than there is like Earth 616.
Exactly, and they did that on purpose. And my question is with them doing that, why were they in such a rush to get rid of the Ultimate label? Now it's coming back, by the way, and we're going to talk about that too on Saturday. There's a lot of stuff that happened this weekend that I just, even though it happened on Saturday, I have time to think about it and be like, no, I really want to run my mouth about that this Saturday. But I love the Ultimates. I thought the Ultimates is, like I said, it's one of those things that just gives artists.
It's basically Marvel's Elseworlds.
Exactly. But it's a continuous thing to where it's like, you have the same set of characters. You don't have to put them in distinct situations, but you have the same set of characters that you don't have to worry about. If they killed Spider-Man for a little bit. They killed Spider-Man and allowed for there to be a new Spider-Man to take his place. That would have never happened. And they tried that with Ben Reilly, and everybody wanted to burn everything down. So yeah.
And I'm glad they brought him into Across the Spider-Verse because I've always loved Scarlet Spider.
Yeah. And what's with the big wheel? Oh, by the way, guys, that reminds me. All right. Disclaimer. I am a fairly open mind. This is not towards you, Fourth. This is somebody was posting something in our comment section. I will engage you with anything, any kind of conversation you want to engage, so long as we're creating a conversation. If you want to post something in the comment section, I don't have a problem with that either. We can engage as long as it's not some cryptic bullshit, some vague garbage, some reference to some inside shit that only you know about. If you have something to say, say it. Say it in complete sentences. Say it in a way that deserves a response. Or I'm deleting it. Not because I have my feelings are hurt or anything, but you're wasting my time. You're wasting my viewers' time because that chat area, this chat area here, and the comment section is for all of us to engage. So if you're going to put something there, it doesn't have to be something I agree with. We can have a discussion, but have a discussion. Stop with the vague bullshit. I got people that I'm like deleting every day. So finally you admit so and so. I'm like, first of all, who the fuck are you? Thank you for introducing yourself. Secondly, what the hell are you talking about? Because you didn't give me any information to go on. So, but if you want to come at me, let's do it. Let's do it on here. Let's do it there. Let's be, let's carry on. That's what this whole thing is about. But stop putting vague references and bullshit into my comment section. If you want to engage me, let's do it. But none of this, you took the L on this. And now I'm like, take the L on what? Okay, if you're going to say I took the L on something, what did I take the L on? There's a lot of L's to take. And all you're doing is wasting my time. So if I have to decode what you're trying to say because you put some vague garbage on my stream or on my thing, I'm going to delete it.
The word reboot turned into a commenter and started trolling you. That's what happened.
No, it's something else. This is a couple of days ago on somebody left a comment on the thing and it just had nothing to do with anything. And he was trying to take a swipe at me. Well, I'm like, okay, if you're going to take a swipe, take a full swipe. What are you talking about? I hate that. And don't do it in the chat either. We had a guy, because I don't throw people out of the chat and I don't ban people, but I had a guy a couple of weeks ago that kept coming in and out of the chat, just leaving, and not, speaking in tongues or something. I'm like, dude, this is, I'm not translating your inner thoughts. Yeah, I'm not going to translate your non-thoughts into something I'm supposed to understand. If you want to engage me, engage me. If you got an issue, I have no problem. I look forward to that. State your issue, state your opinion, and then I'll have a little reply button. But the people are leaving stuff that's not even replyable. I'm like, what are you? I wanted to type, what are you talking about? But then I'm like, let's just delete it because I don't want my other viewers to be like, well, I think he's trying to say no. Don't try to figure it out. If the people who are posting in the comment section didn't do a good enough job to actually post a comment, I'm not going to spend the extra brain power to try to figure it out. I'm just going to click and you're gone. Try again. I'm not going to ban you. I will not ban you. Try again with something coherent that us upright standing walking humans can actually turn into a conversation. So there you go. But yeah, it was that reminded me of that. Not you, Fourth. You just happened to be the comment that popped up. But yeah, I'm like, hate that. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was good. I heard Rogue Nation.
Fallout is amazing. Fallout is fantastic.
Fallout, I think, is the best Mission Impossible movie of the whole thing. And like I said, Dead Reckoning is doing great on PVOD. That's one of the movies that we might watch on the actual stream.
Well, it might be relevant because it relates to the production of Justice League.
I know, with the mustache. And he might combine the upcoming Avengers movies that are coming out. I think you're gonna see some Avengers, and I think the Avengers will be there. I think this next couple of sections of Marvel are going to be all about Fantastic Four associated people, Spider-Man and X-Men. That's all you need. And I think that's where they could resurrect themselves and get people excited about MCU again, because we've done everything we can with the Avengers. We did 14 years we spent the first 5 years building the Avengers. Then we spent the next 10 years after that, with the Infinity Saga. I think it's time to go fantastic because there's so many villains and so many storylines that encompass. And then you have Spider-Man there, and you have the X-Men. You have your MCU right there. So I hope we don't do anything with the Avengers other than reference them, and they're there. I'm not saying get rid of them; they are there. But the focus, I hope, the focus is on X-Men.
So you're saying don't resurrect Tony Stark and don't de-age Cap and bring him out of retirement?
I don't even mind if they do that. If they do that, that's fine. Don't make them the focal point, because the Avengers were the focal point of the original parts. And I don't think it needs to be that anymore. I think that they've exhausted all that. I mean, could I watch another Captain America movie? Sure. But you gave me enough of him. It's not like
that's what I really liked about Endgame, and the same thing that really appealed and still does appeal to me about Zack Snyder's Justice League sequels. It is the feeling of finality in that story.
Yeah, resolution, that R word. There's the R word instead of reboot. Use the real R word, the one that makes you money, because reboots don't make you money. Resolution does.
I mean,
So
Endgame
here
was
we
the biggest movie ever
go.
made for a while there.
Yeah, until they kept releasing Avatar and doing all kinds of silly stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry, I got your tip yesterday, and I did put Me Train on the list. So I'm pretty sure you had to be one of the people voting for it. And like I said, some of these movies that I put on the thing, I have not seen yet, so it's going to be kind of cool. Like Blue Beetle, I didn't see yet. So It's a Bird, it's a plane. Oh no, it's William Williams. How you doing, man? Fourth, when's Terrifier 3 coming out? Hopefully never. Numbers, William, did you hear about Miramax now owning 100% of both the TV and movie rights for Halloween franchise? Yes, I did.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the Four Nerds, and I made the joke last year when Halloween Ends was coming out. I saw that poster every time I said Halloween Ends, like, no, it doesn't. And the reason why is pretty much for William saying his math is undefeated.
It needs, and it's in a, I think Halloween franchise narratively is in a horrible place. I don't need to see what do I need a cinematic universe for this? I mean, what are we going to do? Have him be like the Nick Fury of serial killers? He just goes and recruits crazy people that don't talk and hide in the. I don't know, man.
Well, and I made the point to other people too. The thing about, because they always retcon from the first one or the first two, and the thing about it is like every time they do that, they always start really strong, but they can't stick the landing. Anytime they do like the retcon revival with H2O or with Halloween 2018.
Well, he's him being Laurie Strode being his sister was the right answer. That's what they should have stuck with. I love that in Halloween 2. Because why is he wanting to kill this one person? Because he's fixated on killing his sister. That's what started this whole thing, and she's his sister. So they kept that all the way up to Halloween 4 and 5, and because that's his niece. So he's trying to kill her, and then they just got crazy H2O and all the other just cult stuff that they did with it just got ridiculous. And then Rob Zombie did his spin on it, and then we came back to 2018, and it was good. And I'm like, wow, this is great. I can't wait till the other two movies. Then the two movies came out, and they are fucking awful.
Yeah, 2018 I really liked. Yeah, I kind of went off after there.
Yeah, Howling Kills is creeping its way up there as one of the worst horror movies in the last 10 years for me. So, yeah, Miramax, just now that you bought it, go ahead and put it in a chest somewhere, put a lock on it, and forget the combination for about 10 years. All right.
And by the way, to go back to the previous comment, Terrifier 3 is in the works. And not only that, but they're re-releasing Terrifier 2, not for Halloween, but actually the day after on November 1st. So
what are you possibly going to do to top Terrifier 2?
I don't know. Because that's the bloodiest movie I've ever seen in my life.
And it's just unnecessary. It's Kills of the Flower Moon, Lurie 3. Yes. This is 3.5 hours long. Spidey, everybody saying hi to each other.
I actually just recently saw the first one because I hadn't seen the first one. They did a re-release of that like back in August. So I did see the first Terrifier, and yeah, it's like, it's good, it's good slasher porn, definitely, but it's like, boy, you gotta have a strong stomach for those.
Slashing is not the word. I need the stronger words for slashing. That what they do in that movie is just, yeah, porn, but I need another violent word for the cutting that goes on in that movie. Finally saw Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and I can't recommend it. You're banned, Hal Jordan. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Did you see it in the 4th grade class, by the way? No, I'm just kidding. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is the greatest movie ever made. It's better than The Godfather. It's better than Blade Runner. It's better than everything. It deserved to make $1 billion, and it did.
It's a Winnie the Pooh Elseworlds, you might say.
They're working on that too, by the way. I need to get these guys. Those guys promised me an interview, and they went right into making part 2, and I still haven't got my interview. So,
well, yeah, I would imagine the strike might have something to do with that too.
Yeah. Well, no, because they're not affiliated with a big studio. They're just busy. I'm just like, I keep bugging them. I'm like, hey, I know you guys are about to block me. Can I get my interview?
I saw this too that Larry's pointing out.
Yeah, that's that, and he kept playing it too.
Well, it reminds me of actually I shared the story on Twitter when the Snyder Cut was coming out, but like a week before they played on HBO Max in place of Tom and Jerry, and I told one of my colleagues, Mr. Stephen Colbert, that that reminds me of I worked in a movie theater when 300 was originally out, and during one showing of Ratatouille, they inadvertently played the first 15 minutes of 300, and it's like, I flash back to that, and he said, go on Twitter, share that. And so I did, and I got like one hell of a reaction.
Oh my goodness. James Gunn is not relatable. He lies too much. Here's the thing, though. That's up, that's not relevant, and I understand what you're saying. But if I'm running, if I'm running Warner Brothers, I put him up there, and I put it. It's like when you put somebody on a talk show, you get out the information that you need to get out, and then the other stuff you just don't need to answer. He's not going to answer every single question either. It's just, and like I said, he doesn't relatable. But what I mean relatable, I don't need you to be relatable to him. I need you to be relatable to the idea of what they're doing. Because, like I said, if you wait till Superman Legacy comes out to make that connection, it's not going to end well. So you're going to end up having more guys like me who are blue beating it. Let's see. Well, fourth is in full. If James Gunn comes here, I'll keep my mouth shut. Actually, Lloyd is trying to get me an interview with him, Lloyd Kaufman. People don't believe I know Lloyd Kaufman. I mean, I do. I know him. I have proof. And Lloyd Kaufman was just posing because him and James Gunn met together.
Because you have the trauma connection.
Yeah, and he had the box set, the re-release of Toxic Avengers in 4K, and him and James Gunn were posing with a picture. But yeah, he actually sent me. Lloyd said, "What kind of questions do you want to ask him?" and text them to me, and I texted them to him. But then I mean, that was before he became DC Studio head. And so now I know I'm probably never going to happen, but you never know. If there's any person I have a chance of ever meeting and interviewing, it would be him because of that connection. And like I said, it's not just a name dropping. I literally in a 10x10 booth. I spent 4 days with 10x10 booth with Lloyd Kaufman. He's been out here. We've held Showmania. We've held several things out here. He comes out here.
Well, Film Junkie and Chris Wong have both had Zack Snyder on their channels, and like I said, I the Sci-Fi Center audience I'm noticing and growing. So I mean, can't write that off.
And we interviewed, and somebody told me, stop dropping names and get clicks. You don't know Lloyd Kaufman, and I sent them a clip of literally. On our live stream, not Lloyd Kaufman as a guest. He's literally sitting next to me during Showmania, answering the audience's questions. I'm like, I don't know how. It's not a clone. He's wearing his Tupac hoodie. It's hilarious, but no. But yeah, he's tried to. And I asked him every now. So when am I getting my interview with James Gunn? Oh, I'm gonna send him to. And he actually texted.
And I know. Yeah, and that was like what, the year before last, or when was that?
No, that was in Comic-Con. I asked him about it. Like, hey, when am I going to get my interview?
This past Comic-Con or the one before?
Yeah, he's like, let me reach out to him. I'm like, and listen, guys, I fully know that it's never going to happen. But the fact that there's at least a 1.100 whatever chance that there's even a degree of separation between us, there's a intermediate at all, even though, like I said, I fully know that I'm never going to get that interview. It's kind of cool to try, and who knows? Maybe somewhere down the line,
he's got some time on his hands now with the strike, so.
Or he's in Vegas or something, doing something, and I have Lloyd out here for ABN, and he just comes out and just to say hi unannounced. I'm like, hey, can I get my interview? But I am actively trying to get that interview. That's actually something real. Understanding full well that I'm never going to get it. What do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? Instead of auto deleting his tweets every 6 months, he needs to set it to daily. Wow, you guys are rough. The video for Kill Flip is cover of Holy Diver is a must see. I have it up here, but I can't play it because of copyright reasons. I wish there wasn't copyright reasons. I wish you could play music on YouTube as long as you're doing it in this format. You're not trying to pirate it. But like I said, I think that's one of the things that I don't like. I love doing our music segment, but I can't convey to you. Like I said, I have to put links in the chat. Like for you, I put that link in the chat for Weezer, because it's different. You can only talk about a sound so much before you have to hear it. So I wish there was another way to do it. I'm pretty sure there is. I'm just too stupid. Mind your Tuscan company. What the hell? I don't think they do, because I think there's certain elements of things that Feige likes about his universe, and there's certain things that have just become dead weight. And they could do a full reboot. They could. Then they would be able to do it and have a lot more credibility than DC's disastrous possibility of doing their realignment. But I don't think either ones are doing the reboot. I think that there's a lot of mileage, especially in Secret Wars. You really need to have this Scarlet Witch and this next world. You really do. And there's no reason to start over with Tom Holland yet. And as a matter of fact, what you could do with Tom Holland is kind of like what they did in the comics is instead of the spell in which everybody forgets who he is, once the universe is realigned, it starts him over anyway, like they did in the comics. So I don't think they're going to they could, but there's no reason for them to, if you look at it.
Yeah, that was actually something I mentioned on the Four Nerds when I was on earlier. It's really impressive to me, the fact that No Way Home, they take one of the most, if not the most universally hated Spider-Man story, One More Day, and made it into the basis for No Way Home. I mean, I remember like the backlash that Clone Saga got was like, it was infinitesimal compared to One More Day.
The Clone Saga was okay. And here's where Marvel and they were pussies back then, because the comics market was struggling. That's why they did it. The whole point, and here's a tell, and this is where actually I can't believe I'm saying this, but here's where DC made the right decision at the same time, same year that Marvel made the wrong decision. When DC took over Green Lantern and said, you know what, our audience has aged out. We cannot, these young cats that are in the Image and all these other things, they don't want to see an old guy with gray temples anymore. And
Hal Jordan Parallax.
Yeah, and with back issues that no one can afford. So they gave you Kyle Rayner. Not only did they give you Kyle Rayner, for the time being, they killed off. They turned Hal Jordan into a Parallax, cutting his ties with the core, and then they killed him off, and then he came back as Spectre and all that other stuff, and then. But for a long time, Kyle Rayner was the only Green Lantern in the universe, in the galaxy. And he would be the one to bring the Green Lantern Corps back. But there were websites. I remember glcorps.org. I remember it because me and this guy would get into an argument every time. And this is the old internet, like AOL internet, stuff like that, or low bandwidth internet. We would be going at it, respectively, because I'm like, nobody was talking about Green Lantern before Emerald Dawn and Emerald Twilight. Nobody was talking about that. I was in business then. I couldn't give Green Lantern away. Green Lantern was green wrapping paper is what that was. As a comics, the value of the comics weren't worth it. It was on its third volume. And when they changed that and put in Kyle Rayner, I remember it was Green Lantern 47, 48, 49, and 50, with 50 being the cover where Parallax was on the cover, glow in the dark, and then Kyle Rayner took over the next issue. I had a demographic that was buying Green Lantern that was not even stopping in the G section in the comics. Same thing was going on with Spider-Man. Spider-Man, after Todd McFarlane had left, Eric Larson had left, it was just a bloated comic with just nothing going on, and with a high print run. And what the whole goal was to make it new again, make it young again, and put you in a position where you were seeing a Spider-Man that you hadn't seen for the past 50 years. So Ben Reilly was bought in. They resurrected the Clone Saga that started with the Jackal on 129, and they brought him in, and this was supposed to be, Ben Reilly was said to have been the clone, and then the Jackal, pulls a fast one and says, "No, you're the clone, Peter. I switched him. That's the real Peter Parker. You're the clone." And then Peter Parker that we had known for 30 years was supposed to go away, while this guy who was Peter Parker, he was going to basically invigorate the Spider-Man universe. And they were doing that. And then all the people who bitched and moaned about, you can't do that. And then as a comic book store owner at that time, my question to them was, where the hell were you when this book needed buyers? When this book was collecting dust, when this book was going in the quarter bin, after you guys abandoned it after the McFarlane era and after the Larson era? Where were all these guys that were up in arms? You guys were not buying the book. So what they were trying to do is like I said, and the new kid coming in, and it's the same dilemma today. The 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds are not going to buy $30 and $40 back issues. They can't do it in the volume that you would need them to do it, and you'll lose them. So now you have Ben Reilly, whose only expensive issue at that time was Amazing Spider-Man 1, whatever issue that he first appeared in. I think it was 129 or 130. Because it was right over then, because then the Jackal and the Punisher and all that would happen. But that's what they did. DC made the right decision, and Kyle Rayner ended up becoming one of the better storylines in Green Lanterns over the last 25 years. Ends up resurrecting the core, ends up becoming a go-to Green Lantern. They were able to bring Hal Jordan back alongside Kyle Rayner. And guess where we're at? And then they not only did they second guess themselves in the 90s, look where we ended up 30 years later. Here's Ben Reilly back alive because of the way they rebooted it. So yeah. So no, I don't think Marvel does a full reboot, because I don't think Kevin Feige wants to. I think there's a lot of these characters that Kevin Feige still has use for, and stories that he still has use for, and then there's some that he doesn't. So Numbers, if I can make a suggestion on a Keith Giffen story, would be Marvel's Annihilation. Oh no, I'm sorry, Numbers. I love you. And you are truly one of my favorite participants in this chat. I would rather eat on live air. I would rather eat it with some ketchup than talk about that. I hate that storyline. But I don't know. Maybe. You know what? Tell you what, Numbers. If I do an overall Keith Giffen appreciation thing, then that would be in it. But I think his best stuff is going to be Legion of Superheroes for me. And see, if I do a Keith Giffen appreciation, I gotta talk fucking Blue Beetle.
And you gotta talk Lobo.
And I gotta talk Lobo, a character that I just have no use for. And like I said, that's how great his career was. He created so much stuff that it's like a big world that, there's some stuff in it I don't like, but there's so much that I do. But I'm just kidding, Numbers. I'll think about that. I'll put that in the but Larry, I'm so proud to say my 8-year-old nephews are finally watching the Snyder Cut, and it makes me so happy that every time they say this is way better than the other version after seeing T2. This is fine too.
I love hearing stories about still to this day, people seeing the movie for the first time and just being won over by it and wanting more from it. It's
took us 10 years to win you over to these characters, but they were right about James Gunn rebooting DCU into the DCU. It's the jury's still out, dude. Jury's still out. There's no, you can't, like I said, change for change's sake isn't necessarily good. Shaking things up when you don't really have, a coherent QC. I have to hear his plan. I have to hear, and that's what I mean. I need to, and right now, that's what I'm saying.
Like a quarter of his plan, maybe.
Right now, I don't have anything to lose because, like I said, this is how I'm going to watch Superman Legacy as of now. All right. This is how I'm watching. If I watch Creature, I don't think I'm going to watch Creature Commandos because I just don't have any use for those characters. This is how I'm going to watch the first round of Gods and Monsters, unless something really just grabs me by the throat and says, William, get in this movie beat and see this on the biggest screen, which could happen. I'm open to that. But right now on 11/47 on 10/18/2023, I'm just not interested right now. It's his job to get me interested, though, and he may do it. So, but no, I think the jury's still out. Both DC and Marvel's race towards the multiverse, just not to use it. All right, so Marvel was never going to use the multiverse in that fashion anyway. If you look at the way Marvel comics are, you have alternate realities pop up for the sake of a story. Whereas DC, those alternate realities run concurrently with everything else for a while. And then
the Chrono Bowl sequence in the Flash, that's like that. That's DC. That's the essence of DC.
Yeah, that's the heart. That's the weapon. The DC multiverse is something that they use as a basis of their entire universe, whereas Marvel uses it as a tool. So I don't think that there's a race to the multiverse for Marvel. I just think there's a race to get to a certain point where they can use that as a tool. When it comes to DC, I don't know yet because it depends on how much he dives into Elseworlds. And here's the thing: Elseworlds are meant to be one-offs, but that can change. Obviously, we're seeing Gotham by Gaslight. We're seeing sequels to ones but Kingdom Come was only supposed to be a one-off 4-issue miniseries. I interviewed Mark Waid, by the way. Mark Waid, when I first got into this, I interviewed Mark Waid, and it was never supposed to be. That was it. It was a self-contained stories, and the reason why it was is because you could do things in Elseworlds because of the continuity. It was a different continuity, and you could kill Superman, or you could kill a superhero. Or you can
make him a Grey Templed farmer who comes out of retirement.
Who's much more powerful than he was. I remember Lex Luthor saying Kryptonite doesn't work on him anymore because he's absorbed too much of the Earth's sun, so he hasn't lost any of his strength. But yeah, you could do that without affecting the timeline, and that's why that's why I love it, because not only because it gives us a chance to see stories that they don't want to touch sometimes. Like I said, if they did an Elseworlds, and forget about the people who want to give you the reasons why they could never do this and the whole competing with themselves and all that stuff. Just throw that in the garbage. If someone says, so say if Rebel Moon or something becomes big, and they decide, you know what, let's mend fences, let's do this, let's do a Kingdom Come. You do a Kingdom Come is an Elseworlds story. If you're going to say you're going to do Elseworlds, probably the most famous Elseworlds story is Kingdom Come. And I
think of when I think of that Elseworlds logo.
Yeah, I could see James Gunn, and I know for a fact James Gunn is a fan of Kingdom Come. So,
put out your work. So,
yeah, and then you could also tell if you put out a Kingdom Come, you could tell a backstory of what happened. You know what? There's so many ways to do it.
And that's like what you said there about Rebel Moon. I mean, I think that's something that a lot of the fandom really is kind of hoping for. Is that the reception and success that we think that it could achieve, would be a means to mend fences as far as like Zach and DC and Warner Brothers.
Yeah, because Zazoff isn't the one that chased these people away. It was the Hamadas and the Emirats and the other goofballs. So he like I say, if Nolan came in tomorrow and said, "Oh, Superman Legacy," I don't fucking care. I got Superman Nolan. I'm just throwing it out there. Or I want to do Superman. I want to do Superman, and I want to do it in black and white. This is what I want to do. And James Zaslav is going to be, I'm not even hearing what you're saying right now. The answer is yes. And that's what's going to happen. So that's an Elseworld. And you could always tell your audience this is a different reality. That's it. There are people who I know can't read and write that will be able to get that. Come on now. They're restarting characters to take a different direction. Yeah. It's still not necessarily a reboot. Like I said, the term is misused, but like I said, they're just realigning what they have to tell a different story. I mean, we're basically saying the same thing, but they're not. Like I said, you'll still see Tom Holland as Spider-Man. You'll still see Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. You'll still see Tony Stark if you see him in that line. You'll still see him unless they give you a whole new. And it's not time for a new Iron Man yet. It's just time for them to not take the focus off of Avengers. You'll still see, certain characters, but then there's certain characters that are going to be shifted up. I could easily see Quicksilver coming back, whichever version you want to use. I could see him. I could see all these universes being realigned to one of those Quicksilvers never died. And the Magneto we get, is a newer Magneto. Hell, if you wanted to use Fassbender's still young enough. Fassbender would be great, but I think Kevin Feige wants to do his own thing. So I would like, and like I said, and this is what's done in comic books all the time. That's why I know when I'm talking to people who don't know comic book storytelling structure, because this happens all the time. And whenever you get a new artist or a new writer who takes creative control over things, they selectively do what they want to do. They move forward with what they want to do. It happens. It's been happening for decades now. So.
By the way, you mentioned interviewing Mark Wade. You've shown the entire family of Snyder Cut. Yes. Yeah. If you haven't, please do. But you mentioned, I was just telling, Daniel Larry, if you haven't shown the entire family yet, please do the movie you're talking about there. You mentioned interviewing Mark Wade. I don't know if did I tell you about that time? It's like I literally bumped into him at a trash can at Tampa Comic Con about 8 years ago.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, that was how I met Mark Wade. I got his picture.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, and I had to kind of stifle because I know he's not a fan of Man of Steel, so I had to, keep that in check. But I wasn't not going to get his picture and shake his hand.
See, I told him straight up. This was a podcast. This was before this was like years ago. I think like 17, 18 maybe. I just like, hey, you know what? I see when I watch Man of Steel and Zack Snyder's Superman version, I think of your Kingdom Come Superman. He didn't seem too bothered by it then, but because I told him I think that your work influenced. I think your work on Kingdom Come influenced the version of Superman I got. And like I said, I got this interview. I still think I have it somewhere because it was just audio and we downloaded it. I got it on a drive somewhere, but there was a guy, Nick Valentine, I think his name was. He was making a documentary about comic books, and he was talking to Frank Miller. He was talking to Mark Wade, and as a trade-off for screening his movie, I screened his movie on Free Comic Book Day, and got published for it. He got me an interview with Mark Wade.
Awesome. Yeah, well, and everybody watch. If you haven't read Kingdom Come, I mean, the artwork in that, I mean, it's like it's for like a one shot Elseworlds. I mean, that's like, I mean, what William's saying, it's like, as far as like his Cavill's Superman, being very reminiscent of Kingdom Come. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's like that's like a story like tailor made for Zach to tackle.
Is there anybody in this chat that hasn't read Kingdom Come?
Well, if you haven't, you should.
Larry, that or Elseworlds would be a nice for sure. Why would you do another just to jail? What's
I think he's saying like as far as like finishing up the Snyderverse JL arc.
Yeah, or doing it as a backstory. You could tell a Kingdom Come arc, and they could have flashbacks about what happened. I mean, and I guess I still like my idea of making a cartoon, making some physical media, and then guess what? Guess what Netflix gets to sell now? They get to sell. They get to sell because if they sell stuff at Netflix that's physical media, it's not just going to be the regular looking shit like this. It's not going to be like your standard like DVD or like something. It's going to be cool stuff that catches people's eye. That is collectible.
I was thinking about it a little bit too today, as far as like Zach, the unmade portion of the arc today, and one thing I was thinking about is maybe like having a gap, in some way, while you could in some ways be advantageous in the sense that there's the old saying of separation makes the heart grow fonder, and it's like, and then you can have like you can. It's a way that you can almost like accumulate like mainstream anticipation or interest in it, and then you revisit it in a way where it's like you adjust the story to have Cavill Superman have gray temples and have like give like a Kingdom Come kind of makeover to it.
Yeah, and like I said, you all you would need to do is you could tell your Kingdom Come story, but you could do a Godfather 2 version of it, to where you're telling a current advanced story, but you're also telling, hey, how we got here. After Darkseid, all this stuff. Because in Kingdom Come, Orion's in Kingdom Come, the Darkseid is dead in Kingdom Come. Remember that.
Yeah.
So it was just all kinds of possibilities.
And it's like really like with the outline that's available. I mean, you have this is the very very end of it, but the kind of like the 20 years later thing where it's like the son of Bruce becomes the new Batman. Reading that, I'm thinking like I mean, I would bet that it was always in Zach's intention that Superman was going to have like the Great Temples, maybe like the Kingdom Come suit for that.
Yeah, and like I said, I hope James Gunn sees that. William, which word do you loathe more, unfortunately or reboot? Well, no, because unfortunately people use it in a proper context, and they don't overuse it, and they don't use it to make themselves be smarter than they really are. Reboot is a word that, like I said, it's just a trendy word. It's just like, I want in on this conversation. So these other clowns are saying reboot. So I want to say reboot because I want to be one of the clowns and be accepted. So that's what I think it is, but that's just me. All right. So fun. How you doing? You know what, dude? Like I said, you're hitting the sherm. You're hitting the pipe tonight. Let's see. Donovan Martin, just one more sleep to Spider-Man 2, 2 Spiders, 100, and Venom. There you go. I mean, there's a lot of people excited about this game. And I saw some of the stuff from it because I had my YouTube thing at the store. My TV just went to like some gameplay or something on it. Somebody previewing or something. It looks great. I'm not a gamer, so you guys have fun with that. But obviously, I'm in the Spider-Man. And I might just look at it just to see because, a lot of these games have full-on, they're damn near movies, so I might look at it that way.
Which, by the way, that's another, getting into gaming is like, I mean, technically, they established a new Elseworlds with Injustice, and they really ran, they had the comic book tie-in, and that ran longer than even they were expecting it to. I mean, that thing just blew up so much. And as we can see with the Nightmare, I mean, it's definitely an influence on Zach's 5-part arc.
Yeah, and I really think I would really like to see something like that. But like I said, and it's just it just gives you more dimensions because right now DC's one-dimensional, and it's not only is it one-dimensional, it's dead in the water one-dimensional. It's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. It's not getting me invigorated about anything that I've watched. I mean, before, and to the point where I'm like, Blue Beetle. I will Blue Beetle, and I'm probably going to Blue Beetle Aquaman, and I'm probably going to Blue Beetle. I'm pretty sure. And like I said, unless something explosive happens with I don't care about David Cornsweet being Superman. I don't. I will care about David Cornsweet being Superman when he's Superman, not 2 years, 2.5 years away. I will care about Rachel Brosnahan being Lois Lane when she's Lois Lane. Right now, I don't care. I'm not. They're great actors. I've seen her in other stuff. I mean, she's a proven. But as far as their association with these characters in 2023 about something that may come out in 2026, don't care. Maybe the announcement of your villain, maybe, because it won't even matter if it's Brainiac, then I'd be down no matter what. But
I think it's probably gonna be Brainiac.
Yeah, there's only a certain level of excitement I can get about that 2 and 3 years down the road. I don't care. Now, if I had gotten off a satisfying ride on your last roller coaster, I would carry that momentum and that trust in whatever you're doing next. But I didn't, and I just don't trust you. So, but all that can change. That can change. That can change with a trailer. Hold on for a second. I do. This is weird. I get messages from everywhere about. I'm on the stream and somebody's texting me instead of just checking. Let's see here. I think somebody sent in a super chat. Let me look. How come it didn't do the thing? Larry. It's just now coming in. Larry tipped me about a half hour ago. Thank you for the $5 tip. I have another title for the list if you haven't seen it yet. Kill List, directed by Ben Wheatley. Oh, hold on. I actually have to take this call.
Okay. Okay, so you guys got me for the time being. Let me check out some of the comments here. All right. Fourth says Brad can do that. He could get Michael Jai White or Scott. I have interviewed both of them multiple times. So, I mean, it's like I mean, what's interviews? You go through proper channels for that. But I mean, it's like I do have some connections with the guys like that in the action movie world, the martial arts world, and we do have a good rapport. So, yeah, maybe if William want to do something like that when they have something coming up. They actually do have something coming up together called One More Shot, which I'm looking forward to. So, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I think he's replying to Spider-Man's comment up here. Is in Brad, you should get an interview with Michael Jai White or Scott Adkins for William. Both have been in major comic books. That'd be huge. And yeah, it's like they both have been. Major comic flicks. It's interesting you should say that too, because having interviewed Mike, Scott's got he's been Doctor Strange, obviously. He's in Wolverine Origins, and he's got the Accident Man series, which is based on a British comic that he was a big fan of. That he got that off the ground. That was his kind of his pet project. If you haven't seen those, I highly recommend them. They're hilarious and they're all kinds of crazy action in it. And Michael Jai White, it's interesting with him. When I interviewed him, because people know him from Arrow and Spawn and The Dark Knight, and like voicing Doomsday and Justice League, the animated series. So I mean, they're both obviously associated with martial arts, but also you got the comic book movie connections. Mike, interesting is talking to him, and it's like one thing I learned is that he's not really like that big like a fanboy in terms of like the cape shit.
Okay, I'm back. Let me finish reading his.
Okay. Yeah, I was reading off.
For another title, if you haven't seen it, Kill List, directed by Ben Wheatley, who also made High Rise. It's about a hitman who devolves into insanity on his latest job. Totally insane film. One of my favorites. At it, baby. Okay, Kill List. Shit, we're gonna be watching movies every week. We might be doing twice a week. Hold on.
We got the holidays coming up. You got anything holiday season themed? Maybe I'm
all right. Kill List is on the list. All right. So what were you guys saying? I had to go away. Sorry about that.
Oh, I was answering a few that I got about guys I've interviewed, like Michael Jai White and Scott Adkins.
All right. Sorry about that. Say that again. I was muted. I had muted myself.
Yeah, I was reading a few I got about interviews I've done with Scott Adkins and Michael Jai White, and just kind of give us some context to that.
Yeah,
I was saying a minute ago before you came back on, because they mentioned like we should get one of them, try to get one of them on, which I have interviewed both of them, but I mean, you go through channels to get interviews, and they're both associated with martial arts, obviously, but also they've both been in big comic book movies. And the interesting thing I found with Mike, because everybody knows him as Spawn, and from the Dark Knight and Arrow, things like that. But he's not really like that big of like in terms of like cape shit and superheroes. He's not really like that big a fanboy. I mean, he's done, he's brought very commanding presence to it. But he when one of the times I interviewed him, I asked him about that, and he said it's like it was a good experience to be a part of. But it's not necessarily my genre.
Yeah, this is right. It's funny how people say a movie is too long, but we'll watch an entire season of a show in one day. Yeah, they'll binge watch it.
I don't do that. I don't binge. It's like I'd like to take it in like one at a time. I like to have the adventure with it.
I like to process it. I like to process things from week to week. Personally, Steve is definitely from the Ultimate Team. You look at Captain America's costume. From it's literally the same exact. And you look at what they were drawing on, from just with the little goofy wings on his head.
And yeah, that's the and the thing about it is the way the wings evolved over the course of the MCU. It's like by the time they got to Civil War, I always just saw a couple of golf clubs on the sides of his head.
Yeah, now look at this. So and this is why I'm like, why did you stop using the Ultimates? You were taking everything from it, and it was fine. I mean, you can't tell me that right there is not the Captain America that's been in Captain America since 2011. This is Ultimate Captain America. Doubt. Look at the two side by side. I mean, argument. Look at that statue. That's cool.
Imagine if they, however the realignment or the revamping, however it plays out. So imagine they brought Cap back, but then he's instead he's got the eagle on his forehead. Yeah, the Rob Liefeld Captain America.
Oh my goodness, that was such a disaster. That's how desperate comics were back in the 90s, guys, when they did that. That was Jim Lee came back because it was hurting for everybody. There was a time where Image was even hurting. Everybody, because Image and Chaos were hurting because the print runs on their comics were matching the big boys, and Spawn was outselling most DC and Marvel comics. The only thing that Spawn wasn't outselling for a while was X-Men. And even X-Men sales went down. The 90s was just a bad decade. And then, Marvel's had their problems, but DC had their issues too. The only reason why DC, and then they had the whole Marvel versus DC, the amalgamated universe, which literally makes me barf in my mouth every time I recall it. The only reason why it didn't show as much for DC is because they were backed by Warner Brothers, and they were backed by an entire conglomerate, whereas Marvel Comics really
had Disney back then.
Yeah, it wasn't Disney. It was just Marvel Comics, and there was no Marvel Studios. You didn't even get Marvel Studios or any Marvel movies like that until after they sold the IPs, because Marvel prior to that did not have the capability to make movies like that. All right, let's see.
I mean, they finally had a hit when they got Blade out, and they downplayed the Marvel connection with the marketing of Blade.
Yeah, because they didn't, it was something that Ridley Snipe wanted to do, and it really wasn't as marketable. It wouldn't have been marketable as a comic book character as much as it was as a vampire movie. Most people who saw Blade at the time did not know Blade was a.
I did because I had seen him on Spider-Man the animated series, so I knew that. But if you walk, I mean that is a relevant point though, because if you walked into Blade knowing who the character was, those were the diehards of the diehards.
Yeah, and I knew it because obviously what I was doing at the time. But most people that went and saw that movie did not know Blade was a superhero. And that's why when people say, "Well, that Blade brought back the comic book industry," and all that, no, it didn't. Most of the people who saw Blade didn't even know it was associated with a comic book. When you're talking about the X-Men and Spider-Man and all that, everybody going into that knows that those are comic book characters. So yeah, it's a different animal altogether. All right, let's see where we're at here. Love Fallout. Yeah, Fallout. Great. William is getting big now. He's attracting the trolls. Yeah, I'm getting. And I'm like, like I said, I don't even mind you trolling me, but follow through, I mean, don't be like, be thinking I said something he's going to have to think about now. I'm like, no, I'm just going to delete it. All right, let's see. Fourth is the troll. No, Fourth is not the troll. He's not the person I'm talking about. And the person I the person I deleted wasn't probably not even troll. I don't want your vague ass comment sitting there to confuse people. You guys got to eat. I'm just trying to see if there's anything relevant, but yeah, it's gonna be yeah, dude. Donovan's got. Are you gonna be waiting at the actual? Or is this one of the things you download? I'm not a gamer, so I don't know. Do you have to physically buy this game, or is this one of those ones where you just?
It's going to be a physical release.
Okay, so Donovan, you're like, are you there now, Donovan? Are you there like in like those people with getting the Taylor Swift tickets, just waiting outside? Because he's very happy. I was there at the Sci-Fi Center. I didn't see it. Yes, you did. You got him food. You got him coffee. Or you almost got him coffee. Yeah, William made it all up. Yeah, I made it up on Live Air. I barely have the technical wherewithal to run this show without crashing it. You think I could actually digitally insert a guy talking to him? Yeah, I mean, I've learned to do that. I mean, like I said, I excelled when I stopped caring for what people think. But like I said, I mean, I am on this platform, and if you are going to engage me all the way. Don't be leaving, snide remarks and dumb shit. I mean, come on, man. All right, let's skip down. They wasted 4 movies keeping Wanda Maximoff underpowered. She's perfect now. I agree with him. We would have not. Wanda needs to stay House of M opportunity. Either House of M or a reverse House of M. All right, I think she, along with the Celestials and all these guys, all these metaphysicals and galactic ones, are going to be combined part of what brings out the realigned universe. You're not giving away our water pig. Wow, how deep did I go? Let's see, numbers. I wonder what Numbers' real name is, or it'd be funny if it was the actual. If his name was actually Numbers.
His name was maybe like Nigma, Edward Nigma.
No, and it's code. It's actually a code to where if you light up all the numbers in the right area, it actually says his real name. It's like it's in front of you all the time. Spider-Man anime series has a sequel arc with lots of references to the original. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Like I said, you could bring about, you could take the piece of the black uniform that showed up in at the end of the movie, at the end of and then put it in a battle world. I don't know. There's a lot of things that they could do. I'm just ready for Marvel to move on to the next phase of really cool stuff. Because like I said, I got burnt out for a while because there's just a lot of stuff that wasn't very good. I think now that they can look back that on hindsight and be like, wow, we could do this a lot more streamlined. We could do this better. We could do this quicker. We don't have to do this at all. Because a lot of the Marvel movies, I mean, how many Ragnaroks did I need? How many Love and Thunders, which are both awful movies. I mean, let's do this again, but we do it without those movies. I mean, I'm down for that. So, but yeah. So what am I going to be talking about this Sunday? So I'm going to be talking Keith Giffen. Let me
or Saturday, you mean?
Saturday. We're going to be because today's Thursday. It's already Thursday.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We're one day closer to daylight savings time, which I know you're looking
forward
to.
Woohoo! When is the actual date? Is it November 2nd? What is that?
Yeah, I'm going to look that up real quick.
Hold on. I can. Hey, Google.
It's November 5th.
What is daylight savings?
In the United States of America, daylight savings time started on Sunday, March 12th at 2 a.m. and will end on Sunday, November 5th at 2 a.m. Pacific time.
November 5th.
So right
remember the 5th of November. Yep. We're going to be on the air, too. I will be on the air celebrating that shit. I'm going to have a party hat on. I'm going to have balloons and shit. I'm going to have food around me. We're going to party. We're going to party about getting my hour back. Because you remember, just as upset as I was when they stole it from me, I'm going to be just as happy when I catch that mofo, beat the hell out of them, and take my hour back. When I pry it from Father Time's dead hands. Damn it. William and Brad, what do you guys think caused Dead Reckoning to underperform at the box office? Was it releasing it too close to Barbie and Oppenheimer and other movies? Yes.
I think also it's just people need to realize that, like, because I was actually thinking about this a little bit today. I don't think you can underestimate the post-pandemic reality of box office has been really impacted just across the board. Like one point I really emphasize is that look at 2019. The last pre-pandemic year, out of the 10 biggest movies that year, 9 cleared $1 billion, And even the one that didn't, which was Jumanji: The Next Level, it's like that still cleared 800 million. And then we've had 5 total since the pandemic started that cleared $1 billion. So that should tell you something about just general box office trends. Like even like your normally reliable tentpoles are really starting to I mean, COVID taught people to stream. I mean, it really taught people to stream.
And that option to have that streaming is a big part of your decision-making process when you're standing at the box office with the family. I can't necessarily take a family to this movie. They may not be into it, but they want to go see Barbie or they want to go see this, or they go see that. So like I've always said, you've had to that's why streaming is going to excel, because the decision-making process with all these movies coming out it's a lot easier to make when in about 30 days you're going to see one of these movies on there anyway.
I mean, the new Saw is going to be on streaming this like digital download this Friday.
Yeah, which is what they wanted. They designed that movie to do that. They want that movie exactly where it is. That's why when people tell me the box office experience is where it's at, they're hurting it. The studio doesn't give a fuck about the box office. They don't care about the box office right now. They want that in-game money.
It was advantageous for that one because I mean, Saw movies are always have a low budget, but I mean, just like in general, what you're saying, it's like the conversation has had to shift.
Get it to streaming as soon as possible. Get it closer to our domain where we don't have to cut in so many people as soon as you can. And another thing I think that hurt Mission Impossible was the fact that, and John Campia brought this up today too, it's become such a big franchise that it's hard to dive in if you're not already in. And I can see that. But yeah, it's a great franchise. I've watched the Mission Impossible movies since they came out, 1996. Oh my God!
I will defend Mission Impossible 2 to my dying day.
James Woo, I loved it. I don't know. Well, I never saw the problem with it. Me personally,
I don't either. It's like...
let's see. I know there's 2 states that don't do it. Arizona doesn't do it, and Indiana doesn't do it. Droga, man from down under. I have 2 Aussies in here today. How you doing, William? Do you like Elseworlds? Yes, because I'm coming up with my own DC Overworld set in Star Wars S Galaxy. Okay,
sounds rad, dude.
Yeah, like I said, when you do these alternate things, I mean, you just give yourself space. You just get, and a lot of times when you do these alternate universes, they end up influencing the prime storylines. Superman and Kingdom Come heavily influenced the modern DC universe. A lot of that stuff did. I mean, Ultimates literally gave birth to an MCU. So I think it's great to be out there. Maybe a state or 2 don't do it, so weird. None of them should. Actually, when we take this hour back, I want them to say, "Yep, we're done. We're done. We're done with especially if you live in a desert. If you want to keep it in the other states, but if you live in a desert, if you live in Nevada, New Mexico, parts of Texas, I mean, you just don't know. No, why do we need more heat? Don't need more heat. How's the weather? Where do you live? Don't dox yourself, but do you live like? I asked Aaron this, so I think it's fair to ask you. Do you live like out and outback? I mean, are my stereotypes about Australian any truer for you than they weren't about Aaron? Because she showed me where she lived. Do you have to wear like really thick leather shoes and stuff? Because I'm terrified to go to Australia. I don't want the spiders to bite through my feet.
Oh, they got enormous spiders.
Dude's got a trapdoor spider that has 1-inch fangs. And it's like they're huge and do you guys think that Kevin Feige bring back Namor for the next phase of Marvel? Yes. After Secret Wars, after his reception that got during Wakanda Forever. Yeah, and I also think that you're going to see him paired with a brand new
T'Challa.
That's another thing that you could do, right? That's another thing that allows you to do. T'Challa never died. So great. You got your memorial, which I disagreed with, but now we have the Black Panther. We have to have a Black Panther and not just a substitute, not his son, the T'Challa, the Black Panther. So, So, hey. Yeah, see, here's my Aussies. Aussie. Oi. All right. I hope you are right that we're getting it back. Yeah, we're getting that hour back, buddy. November 5th. Back. Mark that down. That's going to be a day of celebration. It's going to be an all-nighter, man. That's going to be like, I'm going to be giving shit away. I'm going to see if I can get some digital passes and stuff. I'm going to be so happy. Because that's only, a couple weeks away?
Yeah, it's about, what's today, the 19th? So that's it's just a little over 2 weeks away.
Yeah, baby. And then it'll still be 95 here in Vegas for some reason. with mosquitoes. So I'm like, what the hell? Dude, I'm getting destroyed by mosquitoes. I've been here since 93. I've been in countries where mosquitoes were really dangerous. I didn't get bit this much. I've been in Arabian Peninsula, places where, Egyptian, where the mosquitoes can like carry you off and drop you off somewhere if you wanted to. And they're aggressively stinging. And I didn't. And I'm like, what the hell? They're everywhere. And they're like different. They look like gnats. And then there's some that actually are full grown ones. And I'm like, you can't feel their bite. And I'm like, God damn it. And then I'm like, blistering and stuff.
Egypt, I'd be most worried about, running into asps.
Oh, no, you got to be not where I was at. And then cobras. There's cobras, but there's all kinds of owls. There's owls in there that could, like, claws can rip through steel, man. All right, William, you get a salt gun for those bastards? Yeah, salt gun works for flies. Mosquitoes are harder to see, and they fly all weird, man. Then I'd have the roaches because they'd eat the salts. That's right, baby. November 5th. It's gonna be the day right there. I'm gonna have like guests and shit on there. I'm gonna have like a senator. I'm gonna need a senator and a congressman on there to be like, I need you to overturn this. What's my first step? And I'm gonna be putting them out there. I need you to call this congressman. But yeah, I hope you're right. Now we are getting it back. Ozzy Osbourne. That's hilarious.
Good pun there.
Down. Okay, that's hilarious. But no, I've never been to Australia. I want to go to Australia. I want to go and like literally, I want to wear the khakis and everything.
I lived in Hawaii for 3 years when my dad was stationed there when I was a kid. So that's in the neighborhood.
I have an Australian buddy that comes in. He's always, he knows as soon as he sees me, he's like, what now, mate? What now? He's like, I'm like, what? I know you haven't seen me in a week. I know you got some crazy Australian stereotype for me. And he's like, I'm pretty sure the first time you met me, you were disappointed that I didn't hop up to your store in a kangaroo. And I'm like, dude, if you'd have done that, you wouldn't even have to pay for comics here. I would just give shit. I'm like, that'd be cool. But like I said, I never. Australians have always fascinated me, man, more so than Britons and anywhere else, man. Let's see. All right, the bugs are bad this year. Yeah, they're really bad, and I think it was because the heat hung around for a lot longer, and then you have the rain. We had the rain that extended their life. I'm like, Cosmic Psychos, F-Wit City, awesome Australian punk band. Okay, cool. What is it? What the hell? Oh, asp is a very deadly snake. It's one of the deadlier snakes in the world. One of the deadly. It can kill you. Let's see. Let's look up an asp.
That's the snakes. To give a little content, when they open up the tomb in Raiders of the Lost Ark, that's what Sala points out. It's full of asps. Well, Indy, you go first. The guy with the snake phobia.
But he's not. He has no issues with spiders, and that's the same. That very next season when he's got all those spiders on him. That's it. Here's
spiders. That's what I have issues with. I am. Yeah.
Asp is the modern Anglo's whatever word for asp, which antiquity referred to. They've been around forever. One of several venerable species of snake in the Nile region. The specific epithet aspis is Greek. Let's see. Throughout dynastic Roman Egypt, the asp was a symbol of royalty. Cleopatra had one. Moreover, both Egypt and Greece its potent ventum made it useful as a means of execution of criminals who were thought of more deserving of a more dignified death than typical executions. In some stories, in Perseus, after killing Medusa, the hero used the winged sandals to transport her head as he was flying over Egypt. Some of her blood hit the ground and spawned asps. Okay, let's see. A lot of it's just a legend. Snake bite. It is extremely poison. It can kill you in your sleep. Okay. If you're sleeping somewhere where there's asp, it's a pretty gruesome snake, and it kills a lot of people in the Middle East. Do you guys think they'll bring back Cosmo? Yes. Yes, that's a James Gunn guy. Or are you talking about Cosmo the dog? Yeah, they'll bring him back. I think they'll bring back the dog too. Howard the Duck. The real one. Indiana Jones' favorite pet. No, he hates snakes, man. He's like, why do they have to be snakes?
That's one thing I was kind of deal with the snake water moccasins. I live in Florida. I live in the deep south, and people on the internet are weird, so I just kind of leave it vague like that. But
Okay.
I did live in Florida like for like about a month, like right after high school. So didn't run any water moccasins, but I mean, ran a lot of humidity.
We'll find out. I'm from find Brad and be like, "Hey, Brad, it's me. Can I come in? Let's stream." William and Brad, why do you guys think that movies like Troy, Alexander 300 were successful as Gladiator did?
Well, 300 was successful. That 300 did like more than Gladiator, I think.
Yeah, in Gladiator, it's a genre film that you really have to be involved in.
Oh no, not quite as much, but still pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Alexander. It's just not a very exciting genre, and those movies are not very.
Well, the reason why 300 caught on as much because Zach did he did use like the graphic novel as basically as a storyboard, and he gave it such a heavy metal feel to it, and Gladiator that just came at the right time.
Yeah, 300 was a comic book movie. All right, guys. Actually, we went a couple of hours, which is pretty good. All right, cool. All right, I'm about to wrap this up. Brad, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Vero, and occasionally on Facebook. You can also find me my writing on Kung Fu Kingdom and Screen Rant, and you can find me on Saturday nights on Sci-Fi Center Live.
Everybody was kung fu writing. Those cats were fat. Okay. All right. And you can find me, obviously, if you're on the Poindexter Lounge, you can subscribe to my channel, which is youtube.com/@Sci-Fi Center. I have put all of my social media links in the description of the video. I hope they were there this time because they weren't there this afternoon. So you can click on anything, or you can just Google the Sci-Fi Center. So happy Hump Day, everybody. Now it's Thursday, so we'll have to come up with something else. But hey, we're right in the middle of the week. We're right in the monotony, and you know what happens. So, like I said, I think I've gotten my message through to you guys about how important 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is and how important it is. I think it's time for us to graduate. I think it's time for us to make sure that everyone around you knows about this, uses it if they need to. And, hey, maybe we'll come out of the other end in a perfect world where we don't need it. Until then, like I said, don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Don't know how tired I'll be because, like I said, I got a lot coming up. But if I got the energy, I will be here. And if Brad has his permission slip available, I'll invite him and, give him some milk and cookies and get him on the show. But until then, guys, I don't know when next time will be, but there will be a next time.
See you there.
Later.